Okay, I am back with another Boris video. It's been a while. We've been a little bit MIA. Poor Boris has been a bit in the wars between the rain and being a little bit footsore. He's now got shoes on, he's had some body work sessions done, feeling all good, happy and back to normal, which is awesome. So this is probably his third ride back since his big kind of break. It was probably like a 6-week break, unplanned. Anyway, so a lot of you guys have had questions about how to retrain your own off-the-track thoroughbreds at home. So I thought I would give you a little bit of some tips and like a rundown on what I do with him. Every horse is different, so it kind of totally depends on the horse. If you think your horse is quite similar to Boris, then maybe you could try this on your horse. If they're a bit more fiery and energetic, it might not work. But it is all the same kind of principles, you just have to apply it in different ways for different horses. So Boris, as you can see, is just a very chilled dude. He's 4 years old, he does not act it, he acts like an old soul. So I've just been walking him around here on a loose rein for quite a while, just to kind of get him moving in case he was a little bit stiff from being in his paddock, whatever. I always start my horses on a nice loose rein. He's not walking very big though, he's a little bit lazy. So what was I going to say? Oh, so some of your questions have been about asking your horse to come into a frame. Now, asking your horse to come in a frame, there's lots of elements to it, but I'm going to try and make the first kind of steps as simple as possible. So the first step, obviously you want your horse to soften when you pick up the reins. Now, a lot of people, I don't like when I see people doing a lot with their hands. I don't want to do much with my hands because when you think about it, their mouth is actually the most sensitive part of their body. So why would you be harsh on it when, you know, you don't need to be? So I like to train my horses that once I pick up a contact, that they soften kind of automatically. Whether I have to kind of do a little bit of like movement in the bit, not sliding side to side, but simply kind of like squeezing the rein just so it's not dull pressure to him. Because when you want to slow down, you're going to have just constant pressure till he slows down. So you want your aid asking him to come round to be slightly different. So I'm going to hold my outside rein if he doesn't give when I pick up the reins. And I'm almost just going to squeeze my inside rein just slightly like a sponge. So almost think squeeze into a tight fist, soften, squeeze into a tight fist, soften. But I have done a little bit of work on the ground with getting him to soften. So hopefully that works when I pick up the reins. So you saw I picked up a contact and he softened automatically. So doing some work on the ground, so he's a little bit behind the vertical, he's green, I don't really care as long as he's getting the right kind of principles, because as soon as I add some impulsion from the hind leg, he's going to push forward out of being behind the vertical. So to me, that's not too much of a big deal when they're young. You can see I'm certainly not forcing him there, that's all on his own kind of will. So I've done a lot of groundwork with him with some side reins. Now I have them really loose, but they attach to a, what do you call it, a roller. They attach about here. You can have them multiple different places. Some people attach it underneath. For him, he's already quite a forward downward horse. I don't want to encourage him to go further through the chest. I want to encourage him to come back and sit on the hind leg. So for him, I've just had the side reins there just to kind of give him a bit more of an understanding of the pressure and release. So obviously horses learn from pressure and release, so he knows he's being good when there's no pressure, okay? Like with everything, you don't keep your leg on forever when you take it off, same thing. Dude, when you take it off, yeah, it means he's done the right thing. You don't nag with your leg the whole time. So you'll see I'm riding him with a dressage whip. I probably won't use it. It's more here as like a training aid, so that when I do sell him, if someone picks up a whip, he's not going to be scared of it. You can see he doesn't care at all. I've had lots of horses, you pick up a whip and the rider goes, oh, I'm not going to hold a whip because they're scared of it. It's like, well, they shouldn't be. You're not going to use it unless you need to. So I just carry it as like a backup from my leg. So if my leg and my voice doesn't work, I need him to go forward off the whip. Otherwise you're going to end up nagging your horse, which you don't want. So you can see he's walking around beautifully here and I'm just staying super duper soft. So I'm going to do lots of this walking with him kind of off camera, both reins. just making sure he's kind of listening, giving to the rein a bit. I'd like the walk to open up a little bit more. And then I will start trotting. And the trot, we probably expect at least a 10% decrease in how good his frame is, how soft he is, because again, he's only 4 years old. He's quite young, he's quite weak and unbalanced. He still needs to put on a lot more weight. I think the stress of being a bit sore kind of made him lose a bit more weight. But yeah, so we always kind of expect it to be 10% worse in trot and then a further 10% worse in canter. So don't think that this is what I'm going to get in the trot. It might be, I mean, I hope so, but we'll see. So I've been walking for about 10 minutes now. I find walking does a lot for young horses, even older horses, green horses, whatever it is. Walking is going to be your best friend. So he's still a little bit behind the vertical. I'm literally not holding him there. But I'm going to pick up Trot. We'll see what happens. He's a little bit behind the legs, so we might just have to get the trot and then sort it out. So I asked with my leg first, then the voice, and then the whip would come after if he didn't pick up Trot. Now I want him to come out of that frame a little bit. There, good boy. So rather than like kind of going, oh, pick up your head, like I see some people do when their horse comes behind the vertical, what I want you to do is rather push them from the hind leg to push them forward and out of it. Good boy. Good boy. And I'm just going to start thinking, nice big forward trot. And I just want him to kind of find that happy spot that he's happy on. Now this is his better rein as well. The other rein you'll see him drop the shoulder in a little bit. But on this rein he's not too bad. A little bit stronger. Good boy. Now again, I've just got those super soft hands. They're staying totally still. If he lifts his head up, he's going to kind of run into the rein a little bit, like you saw there. And then it'll entice him to drop his head back down. So having those side reins, if you know that you're not super stable in your own rein contact, then having those side reins on the lunge can be really good to just teach him where kind of he needs to be, where that pressure and where the release is, because the side rein never ever misses the release. If you feel like your horse is maybe giving a couple of times and then doesn't, you're probably most likely missing the point of releasing that pressure. So this trot, I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. He's been a little bit inconsistent in his frame recently, hence all the lunging. He's probably only had 2 light sessions of lunging. But he's actually doing pretty well. I'd like him to be a little bit more open in his frame and a little bit bigger trot. So I'm going to trot large instead of on this circle. And I'm wanting him to stay straight in his head and neck. Now he's got a bit to look around at. Straighten his head and neck along the long sides, and then obviously a little bit of inside flexion around the turns. Good boy. Good boy. You can see his trot starting to open up now, which is really nice. Now again, because he's young, I don't want to open him up too much because then he'll start losing his balance. So I'd just like him tracking up with his feet, his hind legs, into the front feet footsteps. And I'm pretty happy with that. Good boy. So again, he just got a bit distracted. The rein kind of caught him out because I'm keeping my hands super still. I don't nag him with any reins or leg or anything like that. Because at the end of the day, if you can sit there and do nothing on your horse, you've trained them bloody well. Good boy. So I'm going to make a downward transition to walk. I'm going to slow my rising. Again, he's really green, but I didn't really have to pull on the reins then, so I'm happy with that. He did kind of come above the bit a bit and hollow out through his back, but I'm pretty happy with that. Good boy. We'll have a walk and go the other way. Okay, so we've had a little bit of a walk on a loose rein. I've just picked him up again and we'll have a trot on his left rein. Now his left rein is his weaker rein. He tends to drop the shoulder to the inside and kind of have his head a little bit to the outside. So I'm just going to get him trotting, and I'm going to trot large because otherwise I have to fix it the whole circle rather than just in my corners. So, good boy. And I just want a bigger trot from him. So in my corners, what I'm going to do to prepare for the corner to kind of help have a little bit of inside flexion rather than counter flexion, is I'm going to come into the corner with my inside rein lifted just slightly to lift him off that inside shoulder and put a bit of inside leg on. And once he kind of straightens his head up a little bit, then I soften. Good boy. And you can see he came to the inside a little bit then. Now he's still a little bit weak, but I'm pretty happy with that for his first go. Good boy. Now I'm never going to cross my hand across the wither, because then you end up getting the horse a bit tangled and in a bit of a puzzle. So we definitely don't want to do that. We only lift it straight up. So I want him trotting with his head and neck straight in line with his shoulders, in the center of his shoulders. Lift the inside rein a little bit. You can open the outside rein a smidge to encourage somewhere for the shoulder to go. Good boy. And that was lovely. Now you can always, if you're going to pat your horse, always pat them with the inside rein, because the outside rein is where we have our steady contact. So if I give the inside rein, nothing's going to happen. If I was to give the outside rein, he'd chuck his head back up, because the connection. Almost think of it like holding his hand, right? Like you hold your kid's hand when you cross the street. If I let go of him, he's not going to be very happy. He's got no one there. Okay? Good boy. So to create the bend there a little bit, I added more inside leg because I felt he was just dropping behind the pace a little bit. He needed a little bit more impulsion from behind. So I just touched him with the inside leg. Good boy. Sorry, got a fly on him. Good boy. All right, this is really nice. I'm going to come on that 20-30 meter circle down the bottom here and just see what he's like now. Oops. Good boy. Now you can see he's come a lot more up in his frame now. He's not so far behind the vertical, which I'm really happy about. I'm able to shorten my reins and kind of carry my hands out in front of me now. So I find if you're a bit uneven in the contact and you feel that you can't keep your hands very still, think about keeping them down by your saddle pad a little bit. So that's just going to keep him, oh, dog, that's going to keep my hands super still as I rise. But I'm able, once you get a bit better, you're able to lift your hands off the saddle pad, carry them a little bit better, and keep them nice and still. Good boy. So he's giving me some really nice steps here. So again, this is his bad rein, so I'm really, good boy, just trying to find those nice bits that he's giving me. And then eventually those nice bits will turn into a bit longer nice bits. And then you'll have a really nice horse. God, it's hot today. I know. Good boy. Okay, I'm going to trot large because he's probably getting a bit bored of the circle. Good boy. Good boy. And I just want to open him up a little bit. And I might just close him for the corner. Good. All done in my seat here. So this is stuff you can work on even if you're not able to get the frame. You can get, oh, there's a person walking. Good boy. You can get your horse going faster, going slower, all off your seat. So you can see he's just lost all the energy and impulsion there because he got a bit distracted. So I'm just squeezing with the inside rein. There's another person. My goodness, so many things to look at. Good boy. Good. And I just want him there carrying himself in a lovely frame. I'm not doing it for him. So again, back to the idea that we want to just be able to sit here and do nothing as such. We'll make it look like we're doing nothing because that is the art of horse riding. So I'm going to slow my rising. I'm not going to be too hard on his mouth. I don't care if he drops his head, puts his head up or anything, but that was really, really good. Good boy.